Broadcasting live from the Texas Student Television Studios at the University of Texas. You're watching KVR News at 9, Austin's leader for live local UT coverage. Your news starts right now.
Good evening and welcome back to KVR News for Monday, October 10th. I'm Brianna Rodriguez.
And I'm Claudia Jimenez. Thank you for joining us.
Hurricane Matthew continues its reign of terror as it makes landfall in North Carolina. The hurricane is now considered a post-tropical cyclone, but sustains wind speeds similar to a Category 1 hurricane. The storm began in the Atlantic Ocean and hit Haiti the hardest, killing over 900 people.
Matthew continued up the East Coast and made a landfall in Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, and North Carolina. The hurricane claimed 17 fatalities in the U.S. Meteorologists suspect the storm will veer off back into the Atlantic Ocean.
The Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to the President of Colombia, Juan Manuel Santos. He helped negotiate a peace deal between a rebel group and the country after 52 years of conflict. This came 5 days after Colombian citizens rejected the same peace deal. The decision shocked the nation as previous polls suggested it would be accepted. Many hope the award will cause Colombians to accept a future peace agreement. President Santos dedicated the award to his fellow Colombians and their desire for peace.
Yesterday, police arrested John Felix, the man who shot and killed 2 Palm Springs police officers. The officers were responding to a family disturbance call. The 2 officers were Jose Gilbert Vega and Leslie Zerebny. Vega, a husband and father of 8, was the 35-year-old veteran. He planned to retire in December. Zerebny was with the department for a short time and recently returned from maternity leave. Felix will be charged on Tuesday for a number of charges, including murder.
2 congressmen visited UT to discuss the importance of minority voter participation. Our Sierra Juarez shows us how not only Latinos, but Asian Americans may have a large impact on the polls.
Congressman Kiko Canseco and Charles Gonzalez came to UT to talk about the effect that minority voting can have on the 2016 election. Hispanic and Asian American eligible voters typically have similar voting turnout rates. In 2012, approximately 48% of eligible Hispanics casted a vote, with Asian Americans falling 1% behind this. Many in office continue to mobilize Hispanics.
Since I was a young person, we've always talked about the sleeping giant, and that is the potential of the Latino vote. Well, now is the time, probably more than ever, to let the nation know that we can make a difference, and I think that we really can.
Millennial Latinos are often highly targeted because they make up the largest percentage in the Hispanic voting bloc.
For many students here, this is their first presidential election. That is the first chance they've had to participate meaningfully within the kind of voter-driven political system that is the United States.
Asian Americans are also becoming increasingly important minority voters.
Asian Americans haven't received that much attention from the main political parties, in part because they had a tendency not to systematically affiliate with either the Democrats or the Republicans. However, in the past 2 presidential election cycles, and it's looking clearly for 2016, they have been skewing heavily Democratic.
Asian Americans are the fastest growing minority and have high populations in battleground states such as Nevada. Sierra Juarez, KVR News.
64% of UT students support Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump. We went out to see if the first presidential debate changed students' perspective on the candidates.
Definitely Hillary is much more prepared than Trump, and in the way she taught, the way she presenting, and I don't see Trump's point of view on anything so far.
I changed my view of Hillary Clinton because seeing her go up against Donald Trump shows that she's more formal about being a president.
It didn't really change my perspective. It did reinforce other ideas. Like Trump didn't present any policy ideas, and he really brought, I think, the topics down a different level.
Yesterday's presidential debate capped off a weekend filled with Trump's video leak and a slew of unendorsements. Our Ashley Tsao would join us at the desk for a political recap. Stay tuned.
You're watching KVR News at 9. Your campus, your news.
Donald Trump bragged about groping and kissing women in vulgar terms during a 2005 conversation with Billy Bush. He was caught on a hot microphone while arriving on the set of Days of Our Lives. At least 16 Republican senators have unendorsed Trump since the video leak, one of which is John McCain. Republican Speaker of the House Paul Ryan said he would no longer defend Trump's candidacy. He said he will dedicate himself to defending the Republican majority in Congress, effectively conceding his party's defeat in the presidential election.
The other big political event this weekend was the second presidential debate. What were the most important points discussed last night?
Well, Brianna, the debate got off to a rocky start. For the first time in history, the two candidates didn't shake hands. During the debate, Trump called his 2005 comments about women, quote, locker room talk, and admitted to not paying federal income taxes for years. In terms of policy, Trump voiced his opposition to the Affordable Care Act and said he hoped to elect a Supreme Court justice in the mold of Scalia. Clinton said she was following the example of President Lincoln by keeping a public and private position on political issues. She said policy should not ban people based on religion, attacking Trump's plan to vet Muslim immigrants. Clinton would elect a justice who would support a woman's right to abortion.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, Ashley. We'll be sure to keep an eye on more political updates during the week. We'll be right back after the break.
You're watching KVR News at 9. Your campus, your news.
22-year-old Christian Graber intentionally damaged a painting after breaking into the Texas Capitol through a window. He threw a portrait of Governor Fletcher Stockdale down 3 stories of stairs. He damaged a $10,000 frame. Graber was bailed out of jail but still faces felony charges for burglary and criminal mischief. UT's growing acceptance for members of the transgender community continues after plans to change restroom labels passed. Our Dani Matias went to find out more.
An estimated 1.4 million adults in the U.S. identify as transgender. Transforming bathrooms into safe spaces for students has quickly become a national trend throughout campuses. Currently, a majority of bathrooms are labeled male or female. Only a few bathroom stalls are labeled as unisex or gender neutral. Student government is now trying to make bathrooms more accessible.
I hope that one day in the near future, all students, faculty, and staff at UT Austin do not have to rely on an app to find and locate a bathroom that they have to use for safety and comfort.
Student Government Bill AR6 proposed changing the signs on bathrooms to say gender inclusive. AR7 will turn individual bathroom stalls labeled male or female into ones everyone can use.
Gender inclusivity, or the language of inclusivity, is meant to accommodate and acknowledge the kind of immense diversity of ways that people understand or choose to present their genders, or the ways that they choose to identify. And it's just a kind of like terminology shift that I think has bigger social implications.
UT Student Government hopes to provide at least one gender-inclusive bathroom in every building on campus.
It's a big victory for the LGBTQ community because a lot of us have a lot of hesitations about using public bathrooms. We're scared that if we go in, we may make people feel uncomfortable, and because they're uncomfortable, they may do things that are harmful or violent, or that just may make us feel uncomfortable.
Aguirre says he believes it's important to avoid discomfort one might feel in bathrooms in order to ensure their safety. Dani Matias, KVR News.
Texas is facing possible charges of $4.5 million as part of its failed legal battle to defend its 2013 abortion restrictions. The restrictions were struck down as unconstitutional in June. The Center for Reproductive Rights filed a request for the amount in attorney's fees and other expenses spent during the lawsuit. The lawsuit challenged House Bill 2, which required all Texas facilities performing abortions to meet hospital-like standards. The state is expected to file its response by November 4th. Texas's legal defense of the restrictions has already cost taxpayers $1 million.
A rising number of elementary schools in Travis County are underfunded and understaffed. As a result, an increase in low literacy rates have been reported. We went out to see how one UT organization hopes to solve the problem.
Students here at the University of Texas at Austin have come together to create SEAL, an organization dedicated to reading to low-income elementary schools.
Students Expanding Austin Literacy, or SEAL for short, was founded during the fall of 2015 to assist elementary schools in areas with predominantly low-income and/or minority families. Con Springs Elementary, the first school SEAL worked with, has a student population with 97% on free or reduced lunch versus Barton Hills Elementary's 8%. Literacy rates reported for these areas are visibly lower than other Travis County schools in statistically wealthier areas where funding is more spread out. Pecan Springs ranked lower than 83% of Texas schools in 2016, while Barton Hills Elementary ranked better than 94%, though both are AISD schools. Fiona Ryan, a social work coordinator working with SEAL, tells us why she thinks this is.
There's just a lot of undiagnosed learning disabilities and other mental health issues that go on in these schools that don't on other areas. There's a lot of chronic stress with a lot of our families that live in poverty. And if parents are working, 2, 3 jobs and have multiple kids, they just don't, there's just not a lot of opportunity for them to work with their kids.
Many UT students working with SEAL become invested with their students and notice changes through the semester's peer tutoring.
I've seen my buddies transition from a Dr. Seuss book to a Junie B. Jones book, which is like pictures to chapters, and it's just really exciting to know that I'm in a great place with great people experiencing really cool things in our town. We're in a really cool city to do this and impact people's lives.
Brianna Rodriguez, KVR News.
More than 500 pounds of food is wasted at the University of Texas alone every single day, but 1 in 6 people aren't sure where their next meal will come from here in Austin. Avery Travis shows us how UT students in the city of Austin are working to reduce organic waste.
More than 4,000 meals are served in the UT dining halls nearly every day. Add up their unfinished food, wrappers, plates, napkins, and other trash, and that's a lot of waste headed to the trash can. Around 40 tons a day. But thanks to some initiatives from the Division of Housing and Food Services, that number has gone down from 73 tons just 3 years ago. Environmental specialist Neil Kaufman says they have a process to find a better use for something instead of just sending it to a landfill.
So how can we reuse these things, and then how can we recycle these things, and then if none of that, how can we compost it?
The signs are clearly marked to make sure students get the right item in the correct bin. But what happens when students go off campus and the signs aren't as clearly labeled? That's where the city of Austin is stepping in.
The Austin Resource Recovery is trying to make it just as easy to divert organic materials away from landfills through education and signage. And organic specialists say it goes beyond just food products.
And if you're a hotel, well, you got all those little bars of soap. What do you have, bottles of shampoo? What do you do with those? There are places to send those.
It's all a part of a larger goal for Austin to reach zero waste by 2040 under the Universal Recycling Ordinance. Businesses and residential properties must get in compliance in time. If they don't, they could face a fine of up to $2,000 a day. But Chapman says wasting organics is much more costly.
This is good for business. First of all, you're buying something that you're throwing away. You're just throwing your money into your trash.
Avery Travis, KVR News.
Well, Claudia, the weather feels like fall is finally here to stay.
Definitely. We get to wake up to cool mornings and comfortable nights. Sierra, will this continue throughout the week?
Well, it was definitely sweater weather this past weekend, and it looks like the fall trend is here to stay. We'll be right back with more weather after the break.
Have a news tip or story idea? Call the KVR News Tip Line, 475-8181.
This week, we can look forward to some cooler evenings compared to what we've been used to the past couple of weeks. Tonight will be the low of chilly 58 degrees. During the day tomorrow, we will see a high of 87 degrees and a cool evening with a low of 69. For Wednesdays, the temperature will remain pretty constant with a high of 89 and a low of 70. We are expecting a 20% chance of rain on Thursday with a high of 86 during the day and a low of 69 degrees. Make sure to bring your umbrella with you to school on Friday because we'll see a 20% chance of thunderstorms. That day, we'll see a high of 88 and a low of 71 during the evening. Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be heating back up with highs of a 90 and a low of 72 on Saturday and 70 on Sunday. Enjoy the cooler temperatures and sunny days in the upcoming week. Live in the Weather Center, Sierra Juarez.
Thanks, Sierra.
College Press Box's Eric will be in the studio to talk Longhorn sports after the break. Stay tuned.
Have a news tip or story idea? Call the KVR News Tip Line, 475-8181.
The Texas Longhorn football team battled the Oklahoma Sooners in Dallas at the AT&T Red River Showdown this past weekend. The Longhorns were looking to show improvement on the defensive end to a two-game losing streak. Here's how it went down.
If the team fell,
Longhorn, his Sooners, he had a career for them. First quarter, Baker Mayfield dropping back, looking, finds Dylan Haynes. That is the Longhorns' second turnover of the season. At the half, it was 14-13 Oklahoma, but Texas hanging in there, showing improvement on the defensive end. Shane Buechele, he has a beautiful deep ball. That is Devin Duvernay for 63 yards, putting the Longhorns ahead. Next drive, Buechele again, same sideline, same result. That is pretty, so is this catch. It's a score for Texas. They lead 27-21. Later in the third, Baker Mayfield, he's back on the field and he's dangerous. And now we're playing Big 12 football because he finds his man 47 yards, Dahu Green, setting up a go-to-goal opportunity. It's Mayfield, he'll take it himself, 4 yards, score. Oklahoma rolling. After a Texas punt, Mayfield looks back, finds D.D. Westbrook, and he could go. But you get the idea. He goes all the way, 47 yards, touchdown. Oklahoma rolling 35-27. Westbrook, 230 yards and 232 yards and 3 touchdowns on the day. Heck of a day. Now Texas needs something to go right off a punt. Oh, something does. The ball hits Joe Mixon. That's a fumble. Texas recovers. That puts their quarterback, Shane Buechele, back on the field. Looking to do something, draw anything back. Has his man Deontay Foreman, no, picked off by Will Sunderland. That seals it for the Oklahoma Sooners, who win the Golden Hat by a score of 45-40.
All right, thanks for joining us, Eric. And now our Avery Travis has your entertainment news. What's new in Hollywood, Avery?
Beyonce officially ended her Formation World Tour. A Seat at the Table tops the Billboard 200 chart. And the Power Rangers make their cinematic debut. Stay tuned. We'll have all this coming up after the break.
Have a news tip or story idea? Call the KVR News Tip Line, 475-8181.
Welcome back to KVR News. Beyonce wrapped up her Formation World Tour with a bang. The singer's 6-month-long tour ended Saturday night, but not without a couple of surprises. Queen Bey brought guests on stage for the first and only time of the tour, and husband Jay-Z and rapper Kendrick Lamar performed songs with the singer, while tennis legend Serena Williams reenacted her role in the Lemonade visual album. Solange Knowles earned her first #1 album on the Billboard charts with the release of A Seat at the Table. Knowles first appeared on the charts back in 2012 with her first studio album, Solo Star. Not only did Solange top the charts, but she and her sister Beyonce joined Michael and Janet Jackson in the exclusive group of siblings to both have earned a #1 album. The first trailer for the Power Rangers movie reboot went live this Saturday. The film chronicles the background story of 5 teenagers who overcome troubled pasts before becoming the Power Rangers. Critics say the trailer displayed a darker color palette and a little bit of an edgier tone than usual. The film is taking theaters March 24th, 2017. That's all for your entertainment news. Back to you, Brianna and Claudia.
Thanks, Avery, and thank you for tuning in.
For updates throughout the week, you can follow us on Twitter at KVR News. I'm Claudia Jimenez.
And I'm Brianna Rodriguez. Stay tuned for College Press Box up next on Texas Student Television. Have a great night.